Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the softball field at Milford High School, as Milford TV is once again happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call, and we are very excited to open up our coverage of the 2017 MIAA playoff tournament as the Lady Hawks softball team gets set to welcome in the Plymouth North Lady Blue Eagles. An amazing regular season it was for the Milford Lady Hawks. They powered through their 20-game schedule with an overall record of 19-1. They suffered that disappointing loss on opening day of the 2017 regular season against Taunton, and after that, they were just about unstoppable. 19 consecutive victories to close out the season, and Milford just very impressive all the way around. Their offense once again lethal, 205 total runs scored through those 20 games in the regular season, allowing just 32 runs. That offense was the #1 offense in the Hockomock League. The runs allowed second only to Taunton in the Hockomock. So dominating through their league schedule, also earned several impressive non-conference victories over the course of the season as well, beating a number of playoff teams along the way. And this team also had many impressive individual performances over the course of the season as well. And of course the conversation has to start with Emily Pierre-Gustavo, who finished with one of the top batting averages in the entire state of Massachusetts. She led the Hockomock League with a .603 batting average and also led the team in virtually every offensive category over the course of the season. And Jess Tomaso, also in the middle of this Milford lineup, also leading the team in several offensive categories in her second season with this Lady Hawks team since transferring from Hopedale. An invaluable piece right in the center of that lineup. In terms of pitching, Milford had plenty of that as well. Allie Atherton and Kelly Reichert sharing the load this season, and they finished the year second and third respectively in the Hockomock League in ERA. Allie Atherton at 1.03 and Kelly Reichert right behind at 1.21. Coach DeVito with the opportunity to rely on both starters equally over the course of the regular season. That allowed both starting pitchers to finish the regular season under 70 innings pitched, so both of those arms very fresh for this tournament run. So Milford with impressive performances up and down this varsity roster, and by virtue of that 19-1 overall record, they earned the #2 seed in the Division I South bracket. It is the highest seeding that Milford has had since they won their second of consecutive state championships back in 2013, trailing only the undefeated Silver Lake Lady Lakers in this Division I South bracket. They welcome in a team today in the Plymouth North Lady Blue Eagles, who is fresh off an emotional win just 24 hours ago. Plymouth North entering this playoff bracket as the #13 seed. That forced them into a preliminary round matchup with the #18 seeded North Quincy. It was a very close game between those two teams. They each scored a run in the first inning. Then it was a pitcher's duel from there. And then ultimately the starting pitcher for Plymouth North, Faith Whalen, was able to blast a 2-run home run in the late innings to ultimately seal the deal on a 3-1 win for Plymouth North, earning them the right to travel here to the Milford softball field this afternoon to take on the Lady Hawks. Plymouth North operating out of the Patriot League's Keenan division, which is the same league and the same division as Silver Lake. They finished second to the Lady Lakers in those division standings with an overall record of 13-7. Offensively, this team has been very strong throughout the year. They finished the season scoring a total of 179 runs. So this is an offense that can put up runs in a hurry. They had 7 players in their starting lineup with double digits in runs batted in on the season, so you cannot take this offense lightly. And also Faith Whalen, who is the ace in the circle for Plymouth North, pitched 85 innings in the regular season and was very effective. So this is a talented team coming in. Don't let the seeding fool you. This is a very talented opponent that Milford will face here on the softball field this afternoon. As you can see out on the field now, the pregame warm-ups have come to an end. We're going to get some pregame introductions momentarily. This game's scheduled for a 4 p.m. first pitch, but we'll see if possibly they're looking to get this game in a little bit earlier than that. So while we have the opportunity, we will bring you the starting lineups for these two teams. We will begin with the #13 seeded Plymouth North Lady Eagles. Leading it off is their shortstop, Jenna Crowell. The first baseman, Maddie Crowley, bats second, with Ellie Giuliani, the third baseman, batting third. Paige Guerra, the catcher, bats fourth, with Emma Healy, the second baseman, in the #5 spot. It is Tegan Utera, the left fielder, batting sixth, with Faith Whalen, the starting pitcher, in the lineup, batting seventh. Taylor Burns plays right field and bats eighth, and in the ninth spot is the center fielder, Julia Zanaboni. And for the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks, it is a similar lineup to what we saw throughout the regular season. Kate Irwin leads it off in center field. Emily Pierre-Gustavo in her league-leading batting average bats second and plays shortstop. Maggie Farrell is the left fielder batting third, with Jess Tomaso, the cleanup hitter, playing first base. Caitlin DeCapua plays third base and bats fifth, with Emily Hartman, the catcher, batting sixth. Kelly Reichert is in the lineup as the designated player, batting seventh, with Maddie Bonvino, the second baseman, batting eighth, and batting ninth, playing right field, is Shannon Cormier. So again, your pitching matchup in this game, Allie Atherton getting the start, the senior captain in the circle for Milford. She will be opposed by Faith Whalen, the ace for the Plymouth North Lady Blue Eagles. So an impressive pitching matchup, and Allie Atherton, who has led the pitching for Milford in all 4 years of her varsity career, she will get the start once again to open up tournament play. A fantastic matchup for the first round of the playoffs. Again, it is Milford, the number 2 seed, taking on the number 13 seed Plymouth North. The MIAA playoff tournament set to get underway here at the Milford softball field. We will pause very briefly, and we will be back with the game's first pitch next. And again, we want to welcome in all of our viewers who are joining us today via the live stream app. We are happy to be bringing you live streaming coverage of the MIAA playoff tournament here on Milford TV. Everyone with the opportunity to download the live stream app on their mobile device and follow us via the Milford TV educational channel. That's where you find all of our live streaming sports coverage. So whether you're joining us live or you're checking us out via YouTube or checking us out on the Milford TV educational channel, we're happy to have you on board. An exciting game set to get underway in just a few short moments, and we'll have it for you next here on Milford TV.
And the home of the
And we welcome you right back inside the softball field here in Milford. Pre-game festivities have come to an end. A terrific rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner by one of the MHS students, and now it is time for playoff softball here in Milford. The captains getting set to meet right in front of home plate as we will get this playoff softball game underway in just a few short moments. The number 2 seeded Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks taking on the number 13 seeded Plymouth North Lady Blue Eagles. And both of these teams very pumped up as the pregame intros took place, so we expect a lot of energy on both of these sides. And of course for Plymouth North, they're picking right back up where they left off a day ago with that exciting playoff victory in the preliminary round against Plymouth North just yesterday. And so they are right in the swing of things. Milford, meanwhile, has had a lengthy layoff since the last time they took the field in a meaningful game. Milford closing out their regular season back on May 22nd. So well over a week ago, they did play a couple of scrimmages this week, one of which took place against members of the alumni for Milford softball, and then also getting in a scrimmage with another team as well earlier this week. So trying to stay as fresh as they possibly could ahead of this softball matchup. So we'll see if it takes Milford any time to get back into the swing of things. Of course, their last game did not even go a full 7 innings. It did not even go 5 innings. It ended up being a 3-0 win against Sharon back on May 22nd. That game ended up getting shortened due to an injury to the Sharon starting pitcher, so only going 3 innings in that game. They only played 5 innings in a Mercy Rule victory against Foxborough here back on May 19th. So again, not a lot of softball has been played for this Milford team over the last couple of weeks, so we'll see if that impacts them at all in the early innings of this game. Meanwhile, as we cover all of the action here at the softball field this afternoon, we also have Milford TV cameras rolling down in Stoughton, Massachusetts, where the number 13 seeded Milford Scarlet Hawks baseball team are taking on the number 4 seeded Stoughton Black Knights. Anthony Mazzini is on the coverage for that game down in Stoughton. We unfortunately cannot bring that game to you live. However, we will continue to bring you score updates from that game as often as we possibly can during this live streaming coverage today. What we can tell you is right now Stoughton has a 2-1 lead on Milford going into the 4th inning. Milford just wriggled their way out of a bases loaded jam. Alex Masick getting the start for the Scarlet Hawks baseball team in that one. So an early 2-1 deficit as Milford, the 2nd place team in the Davenport division, taking on the 1st place team in the Davenport in Stoughton. So again, we'll continue to keep you updated on the baseball playoff action as we go along here this afternoon. But in the meantime, all eyes on the softball field as the Lady Hawks have now taken the field. And Allie Atherton, the senior captain, will now go into her warm-up tosses. Another fantastic regular season for Allie, a senior captain on this team this year, a 4-year varsity player. And through the regular season, she appeared in the circle in 14 games. She made 12 total starts, and she finished the season with an 11-1 record. She pitched a total of 68 innings during the regular season, finished the year with a 1.03 ERA. She allowed a total of 18 runs, just 10 of those earned. She allowed a total of 46 hits. She walked 11 and struck out 72 batters in those 68 innings. So the senior captain getting loose, as are the rest of the players out in the field for Milford, as Atherton gets set to face the top 3 batters in the Plymouth North batting order: Jenna Crowell, Maddie Crowley, and Ellie Giuliani. And again, some hefty batting averages, some impressive offensive stats for many of these players in this Plymouth North lineup, and also Faith Whalen as well, who will take the circle on the Plymouth North side in the bottom half of this inning. Also impressive stats. We'll get to all of those in due time over the course of this game this afternoon. Milford coming off of yet another Davenport Division title, also winning the Hockomock League outright, courtesy of a 19-1 overall record, 15-1 their record through league competition. King Philip also finishing the year with a 15-1 record within Hockomock League play. Taunton ended up finishing the year at 13-2 overall in league play. So Milford, the #1 team in the Hockomock League, after suffering that single loss in the opening day of the season, rattling off 19 straight and hoping to keep that winning streak going through a deep playoff run. This team is ready. I spoke to the 3 senior captains earlier this week, very focused in, ready for the task at hand, very confident. And we'll see how that confidence pays off. The first pitch of this playoff game on the way, and it is in for a called strike 1. As Atherton begins her outing facing the shortstop for Plymouth North, Jenna Crowell, and immediately as that first pitch is thrown, the voices rise up in both dugouts as the 0-1 pitch is dribbled to the left side, fielded by Emily Pierre-Gustavo. She fires to first, and out number 1 is recorded. Crowell retired 6-3 on the ground out, and that brings up the first baseman, Maddie Crowley. Crowley leading this team in batting this season, a very impressive .565 batting average through the regular season. She had a pair of home runs and 18 runs batted in. So interesting to see both of these teams with their leading hitter in the #2 spot. Emily Pierre-Gustavo on the Milford side leading the team in batting average, and Maddie Crowley for the Lady Eagles. A no-ball, 1-strike count after that foul ball. The next one on the way from Atherton, and it's up and away. The student section continuing to fill up off to our right. Both sets of bleachers on each side of home plate quickly filling up, and fans all around the outfield as well. Here's a 1-1 pitch. It's popped up foul, and it glances off the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out and the base is empty in the top of the first inning. Tim Coet here on the call once again for Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Atherton's next pitch, and that's on the outside edge for a called strike 3. So there's the first strikeout for Atherton. As we mentioned, 72 Ks in the regular season, now 73 in total on this 2017 year, and she's recorded the first 2 outs to the first 2 batters she's faced in the first, and now she'll deal with Ellie Giuliani. She swings at the first pitch and sends a sinking liner to third base, but it's snagged by Caitlin DeCapua, and it is a very quick 1-2-3 top of the first inning for Atherton. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks will take their first swings in the postseason when we come back next here on Milford TV. After Allie Atherton dispatched the Plymouth North bats 1-2-3 in the top of the first, it is now Milford's turn to take their first at-bats of this 2017 MIAA tournament. Kate Irwin, Emily Pierre-Gustavo, and Maggie Farrell. A similar trio of batters that have led this team to tremendous success through the regular season. They'll now get things started against the starter for Plymouth North, Faith Whalen. And Whalen's first pitch misses a little outside and low. Of course, this is the second start in a 24-hour span for Whalen, as now she sends that ball wide past the glove of her battery mate, Paige Guerra. And so again, we'll see if that impacts Whalen at all. She was very impressive in the victory against North Quincy yesterday. As there she deals in her first strike, bringing the count to 2-1. And now this ball bunted out towards third base. It's gobbled up quickly, but the throw from Ellie Giuliani is not in time, and Irwin reaches with the bunt single. Nothing Giuliani could do about that one. She fielded it as well as she possibly could have, but too much speed for Kate Irwin. As now the first pitch into Emily Pierre-Gustavo misses inside. Irwin stole 7 bases through the regular season, leading this team. We'll see if Coach DeVito has her on the move here in the first, as Pierre-Gustavo sends a fly ball out to center field. Ranging in is the center fielder, Zanabani, but she can't make the catch. Irwin hustling on to third, and she gets there safely. And meanwhile, on the play, Emily Pierre-Gustavo able to take second base. That ball had a lot of hang time on it, but it was hit very shallow out into center field. Neither the shortstop nor the second baseman got a good read on it, so it ended up being Zanabani's play to make, and she could not cover the ground. So it ends up going as a single for Pierre-Gustavo. She takes second base on the throw. That went in towards third, and now Maggie Farrell sends a ball deep out to right field, down for a hit. Irwin comes in to score, Pierre-Gustavo right behind, and first pitch swinging, the senior captain Maggie Farrell ropes a 2-run double that quickly gives the Lady Hawks a 2-0 lead. And Milford, any chance that they would be slowed down after the long layoff in between games, that is quickly put to rest. A bunt single, a traditional single, and a 2-run double, the first 3 batters of the game. And Milford out in front. Now Jess Tomaso lines a pitch out to left field. That will shoot into the gap and be extra bases. Tomaso cruising into second base. It's back-to-back doubles for the Lady Hawks, who are crushing Faith Whalen so far in the first. Farrell and Tomaso both first pitch swinging. Farrell taking aim at the right center gap, Tomaso to the left center gap. And another runner in scoring position now for Caitlin DeCapua. Another of Milford's senior captains who had a terrific regular season, batting .382. 22 runs batted in. Takes a called strike on the outside edge. And she is down in the count, 0-2. The aggressive base running paying dividends for Milford here in the first. Now DeCapua hits that one hard to third base, glances off the glove of Giuliani. It's backed up by the shortstop. And Crowell's throw gets there in time to retire DeCapua. Good concentration for Jenna Crowell at shortstop. After that ball clanked off the glove of Giuliani at third, she was able to stay with it. The out ends up going 5-6-3 on the ground ball from DeCapua. There's the first out in this bottom of the first inning. Now here's Emily Hartman. She swings at the first pitch and hits it hard, but foul down the left field line. This offense was absolutely ready to go. All of this developing lightning quick here in the bottom of the first inning, a 3-0 lead. Back-to-back RBI doubles for Farrell and Tomaso. As now that ball is sent foul just over the spectators behind the plate and out of play. So Farrell driving in Irwin and Pierre-Gustavo, Tomaso bringing Farrell home. And the next pitch to Hartman is high, evening the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Emily Hartman, the lone underclassman in this starting lineup. finished the year with a .348 batting average. Had 6 doubles, 3 home runs. Now again taking aim down the left field line, but couldn't keep it fair. There's some breezy conditions here at the Milford softball field. Right now the flag's blowing out towards left. There's the potential for some pop-up thunder showers in the area. We're hoping they pass by. It looks like most of the worst of it is going to pass by to the south, so we should be able to get this game in uninterrupted. Meanwhile, a full count now to Hartman. Here's the next pitch from Faith Whalen, and Hartman may have gone after ball 4 there. She golfs it foul. Three balls and 2 strikes to Hartman, with Tommaso now at third after the ground out by DeCapua. And Emily Hartman putting on a very tough at bat. We have another update from Stoughton that we'll get to in a moment. First, another payoff pitch, and this one hit hard and foul, and that sent both Tommaso and head coach Steve DeVito dancing down the third base line. Coach DeVito in his 4th year at the helm of this softball program, once again bringing them back to the playoffs. As that pitch misses for ball 4, a close one. Just off the outside part of the plate, Hartman works the walk. And so now 5 of the first 6 batters have reached for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, and we'll see a courtesy runner now for Hartman as Antonia Bonina pops out of the dugout. She takes over at first as Kelly Reichert prepares to take her first postseason at bat. Here's the pitch that skips in. It's low. Bonina immediately takes off, and Paige Guerrera not even considering a throw down to second base, so an uncontested steal. Now 2 more runners in scoring position for Milford. As Reichert pops this one up foul, it's playable behind first base, and Maddie Crowley's able to make the catch for the second out of the inning. Defensively for Plymouth North, it is Paige Guerra behind the plate, Ellie Giuliani at third, Jenna Crowell at short, Emma Healy at second, and Maddie Crowley at first. Left to right in the outfield, Tegan Utera, Juliana Zanaboni, and Taylor Burns. Julia Zanaboni in center field. With 2 outs now in the inning, a chance for Maddie Bonvino. Goes after that pitch and sends it foul. She's quickly down. No balls and 2 strikes. Bonvino finished the year at .382. 8 runs batted in, 5 doubles on the year for Bonvino. And now lines this ball out to left for a hit. Tommaso in to score. They'll wave Bonina around from second. Here's the throw. It's not in time, as down to second base goes Bonvino. 2 more runs cross the plate for Milford, and they open up a 5-0 lead on Plymouth North. Maddie Bonvino with some clutch 2-out hitting. That might end up going in the books as a single for Bonvino, taking second base on the throw. But nonetheless, she drives in 2 more runs. And it gives Shannon Cormier a chance to bat. So Milford sending all 9 of their batters to the plate against Faith Whalen here in the first. Cormier a foul ball, and she is down 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's lifted in the air and foul ground behind third base, right to the fence. Ellie Giuliani able to make the catch for the out that ends the inning, but Milford sends 9 batters to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. They score 5 times. And in this first round action of the MIAA tournament, Milford takes a quick 5-0 lead on Plymouth North here on Milford TV. The Lady Hawks offense picking right back up where they left off in the regular season. 5 runs put up in the first inning to seize control of this game against Plymouth North. Now Allie Atherton back to the circle, and she deals in strike one to Paige Guerra. Atherton with an impressive first inning of work, setting down the side in order with a strikeout mixed in. Here's her 0-1 pitch. That misses high. The head coach for the Plymouth North Lady Blue Eagles is Sue Harrison. Trying to rally her troops after a tough bottom of the first inning. Milford batting around, scoring 5 runs on 5 hits. Back-to-back doubles by Maggie Farrell and Jess Tomaso, the centerpiece of that offensive attack. And a waving swing and a miss. Paige Guerra badly fooled on that outside pitch. And that's the second strikeout of the game for Atherton. That brings up Emma Healy, the second baseman. Healy batted .455 through the regular season with 21 runs batted in. Can't catch up to that high fastball. Healy along with Jenna Crowley with 21 runs batted in on the season. 2 of the 7 players in this Plymouth North lineup that had double digits in runs batted in through the regular season. They were able to evenly distribute their offense throughout this lineup. So again, if you're Milford, the 5-run lead feels good, but you cannot ease up. This is an offense that is certainly capable of scoring runs and doing it in a hurry. It's a no-ball, 2-strike count on Healy. Here comes the next pitch from Atherton, and that's on the outside edge for a called strike 3. Back-to-back Ks in this inning for Atherton. Now has 3 in the outing, and she's retired the first 2 batters of the third. Taking a quick peek at the latest update from Stoughton. The Scarlet Hawks baseball team had a bases-loaded opportunity with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning, but they were unable to score. So they head to the bottom of the 4th inning, continuing to trail Stoughton by a score of 2-1. We will have full game coverage of that baseball playoff game on the educational channel and on YouTube by early next week. Very fortunate to have Anthony Mazzini and Tim Rossetti down in Stoughton covering that game for Milford TV. Meanwhile, Atherton facing Tegan Utero with 2 outs and the bases empty. She's gone to a 2-ball, no-strike count. And the next pitch hits the inside edge for a strike. Utero looking back at the home plate umpire after the call. As the sun breaks through the cloud cover, still a strong breeze here in Milford. The 2-1 pitch, and that's popped up foul. And Atherton 1 strike away from finishing off another 1-2-3 frame. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the next pitch from Atherton is a slow roller back up the middle. It gets past Atherton. Bonvino backs it up, gets the throw to first, but not in time. Atherton really had the only chance to make the play for an out. And the ball just dribbled under her glove. And so Tegan Utero reaches on the infield single. It keeps the inning going now for the Plymouth North starting pitcher, Faith Whalen. And Whalen ended up being the pitching hero and the offensive hero for the Lady Eagles yesterday against North Quincy. She allowed just 1 run on 6 hits, with 4 strikeouts getting the victory in the circle, and also hit what turned out to be the game-winning 2-run home run in the late innings here. She pops one up on the infield, and it is Atherton who's able to make the catch herself for the out that ends the inning, so the infield hit proves to be harmless. On to the bottom half of the 2nd inning, with Milford still in front 5-0 on Plymouth North in this coverage of Milford softball in the MIAA tournament here on Milford TV. Once again, it is Kate Irwin who leads off the inning. As Milford will bring the top three batters to the plate once again to lead off the second after Milford sent all 9 to the plate in the first inning. And Irwin takes a look at ball 1. Kate reaching on a bunt single to touch off that 5-run rally. And now slashes one on the ground to shortstop, a bobble by Jenna Crowell, and Irwin once again will reach base safely. Even a clean play may very well not have gotten to first base in time, but once the bobble happened, took away any doubt. That will likely go in the books as an E6. As now Pierre Gustavo swings at the first pitch, sends it to shortstop. And Jenna Crowell able to get the throw to first base in time to retire Pierre Gustavo after she reached on a bloop single her first time up. Retired here 6-3. Irwin moves up to second base safely. This game has had a very brisk pace. Neither pitcher wasting any time. Now the first pitch in to Maggie Farrell. And she takes it for ball 1. Farrell swinging at the first pitch. Her first time up, roped a double that scored 2 runs. Now chops this ball right back into the glove of Whalen in the circle. She throws to first to get the out there. Kate Irwin moves up to third base, but now with 2 down. Farrell retired 1-3 on the ground out, and now with 2 outs in the inning, Jess Tomaso will look to do more damage. She also collected an RBI double her first time up. Takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Tomaso finished the season with the second highest batting average on the team at .533. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now. As Tomaso watches that pitch move up and out of the strike zone. 2-1 now the count. Tomaso leading the team in hits on the season with 40. She also led in doubles with 11 and was able to just sneak past Emily Pierre Gustavo at the end of the season, beating her out for the RBI crown with 35 runs batted in through 20 games. Now hits this pitch hard, but a lunging catch is made at shortstop by Jenna Crowell. That ball looked like it was ticketed for left field, but Crowell making a nice catch, and that will conclude things in the bottom of the second inning. Milford strands a runner at third base, but they continue to lead this game by a score of 5-0 over Plymouth North on this playoff coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Top of the third inning now set to begin. Atherton to face batters 8, 9, and 1. And already showing bunt is Taylor Burns. She ends up taking the pitch for a strike. Burns followed by Julia Zanaboni and the leadoff batter Jenna Crowell, the shortstop who made a couple of nice defensive plays last inning. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Burns, up for the first time against Atherton. And now this ball popped up on the infield. Bonvino calls for it. Maddie makes the catch to the right side of second base to get the first out here in the top of the third. Brings up Zanaboni, the number 9 hitter. She also shows bunt, pulls the bat back and takes a called strike 1. Atherton has been consistently starting off ahead of these batters. Appears to be locked in the circle. the 0-1 pitch. It's a dribbler back to the circle. A nice backhanded stab by Atherton. She throws to first to get out number 2. For those of you streaming the game live, we encourage you to check out the Milford Informer on Milford TV tonight at 7:30. We spoke to all 3 of Milford's senior captains as well as their head coach Steve DeVito to get their thoughts heading into this playoff tournament. Back to the leadoff spot now, and ball 1 issued to Jenna Crowell. All 3 captains feeling like this was a very special group on a mission this season and confident in this team's ability to make a very deep postseason run. That run beginning here this afternoon at the Milford softball field. And of course, for those of you who have not had an opportunity to look at the Division I South bracket, very interesting bracket as it turned out, with a lot of teams that Milford has typically faced in their postseason run on the opposite side of the bracket. We'll get to more of that as the game goes on, as this ball is popped up to first. The catch is made by Jess Tomaso. And for the second time in this game, Milford enjoys a 1-2-3 frame. Atherton has just allowed the 1 infield hit so far in this one. We will head to the bottom of the 3rd inning with the Lady Scarlet Hawks continuing to lead the Plymouth North Lady Blue Eagles by a score of 5-0 here on Milford TV. The senior captain, Caitlin DeCapua, along with Emily Hartman and Kelly Reichert, the 3 batters expected as we have reached the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Faith Whalen set to go with her 3rd inning of work. She deals in ball 1 high. She was able to settle down after a rocky 1st inning, facing just 4 batters in the 2nd. The only batter that reached did so on an error, as this ball is skied down the left field line, but foul. Drifting off towards a trio of fans seated just beyond the playing surface and foul ground out in left. A lot of spectators and a lot of different corners of this softball field. Many of them seated down the right field line, curving around behind the fence. The Milford community excited to see this softball team once again in the playoffs. Many people feeling that this team has a chance to do something special as DeCapua slowly rolls this one towards shortstop. Again, Jenna Crowell makes a solid play. She gets the first out in the bottom of the 3rd, and that brings up Emily Hartman. Emily walked her first time up, was replaced on the base paths by Antonia Bonino, who stole 2nd and then came around to score on the 2-run single by Maddie Bonvino. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Now evens at a ball and a strike. Whalen fires, and that ball up and in on Hartman. Emily, a bit of a free swinger, but she's shown good plate discipline through her first 2 at-bats here in the playoffs now. Sends this ball high in the air out to right field. A sliding catch is made by Taylor Burns. Might have been fighting the sun a little bit as she came in on that ball, but was able to secure the catch. And that brings up Kelly Reichert, the designated player. She popped up to the first baseman back in the 1st. Now watches that pitch miss outside for ball 1. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Bonvino on deck, hoping for a chance as that ball misses. 3-0 the count. And that pitch high for ball 4. So after Whalen retired the first 2 batters, she walks Kelly Reichert on 4 pitches. Another update from Stoughton. Milford once again with a bases loaded opportunity in the 6th inning, and again they were unable to score. So the frustration continues to mount for the Scarlet Hawks baseball team, who will head to the 7th inning looking for a rally to keep their season going. They still trail Stoughton 2-1, so it has been a good pitcher's duel down there in Stoughton. But Milford hoping for some late game heroics. The baseball team, that is. The softball team right now in good position, up 5-0. They have a 2-out base runner in the bottom of the 3rd as Maddie Bonvino has a 1-ball, 1-strike count. That pitch misses, perhaps a little outside and low. Bonvino with a 2-out, 2-run single to cap off the 5-run 1st inning. Think back a couple of years ago to Milford's opening round playoff game against Quincy High School. Bonvino with a key hit in that game. I do believe it was a home run, if I'm remembering correctly. So Bonvino with a flair for the dramatic in the postseason, getting her 2017 postseason run started with a 2 RBI base hit. Now shoots one on the ground towards second base. That's played by Emma Healy. She throws to first to get the out that ends the inning. Milford strands another runner. We've now played 3 full innings in this opening round playoff contest between Milford and Plymouth North, and it is the Lady Hawks with a 5-0 lead. We'll head to the 4th inning next here on Milford TV. Milford with 5 runs on 5 hits with no errors. Plymouth North with no runs, 1 hit, and an error. As we now begin the top half of the 4th inning, where Plymouth North will send batters 2, 3, and 4 to the plate against Atherton. The number 2 seeded Lady Scarlet Hawks, the number 13 seeded Lady Blue Eagles. And it is Maddie Crowley, the top hitter in this lineup, who will lead it off. She struck out looking against Atherton her first time up. Swings at the first pitch here and loops it out to center field. That one traveling a little further back than Kate Irwin expected, but the Milford center fielder able to make the catch for out number 1. We mentioned the interesting layout of the Division I South bracket. As you take a look at the opposite half of the bracket for Milford, a lot of heavy hitting teams. Silver Lake, the number 1 seed, as well as King Philip, Taunton, North Attleboro, Mansfield, Bishop Feehan, also Bridgewater Raynham. So a lot of tough teams are going to have to duke it out over on the left side of the bracket. The only way Milford would face any of those teams is if Milford were to make it to the bracket finals. Quick 0-2 count on the batter, Ellie Giuliani. Defensive swing to stay alive. Milford with that number 2 seed. Probably the best news for Scarlet Hawks fans was that meant that it would delay a matchup with Silver Lake until both teams were to reach the finals, should both teams advance that far, as that pitch is swung on and missed. Giuliani goes down on strikes as Atherton notches strikeout number 4. The previous 2 seasons, fans remember it well, Milford has matched up with Silver Lake in the quarterfinal round of the Division I South playoffs in both 2016 and 2015. And both of those games resulted in playoff elimination for Milford. But an opportunity for Milford to continue to play out this MIAA tournament here in Milford until we go to neutral site games for as far as Milford can advance. A 2-ball, no strike count now on Paige Guerra, the cleanup hitter who struck out in her first at bat. Allie continuing to keep the Plymouth North bats quiet. She's retired the first 2 batters quickly here in the 4th. Here's her 2-0 pitch, and that's in for a strike. We know that the Milford baseball team will face at least a 1-run deficit when they come to the plate in the top of the 7th inning in Stoughton. Their playoff lives hanging in the balance. Will await another update from Anthony Mazzini as this ball is slapped on the ground towards second base. Bonvino, a rangy play to her left. She makes the play and the throw for the out that ends the inning. 3 out of the first 4 innings so far have been 1-2-3 frames for Atherton. She's allowed just 1 infield single for Plymouth North so far on the afternoon, and it is still a 5-0 Milford lead as we continue with round 1 coverage of the MIAA playoff tournament here on Milford TV. Shannon Cormier digs in on the left side, taking her second at bat of this game to lead off the bottom of the 4th against the starting pitcher, Faith Whalen. Whalen issues ball 1 to Cormier, and now this ball is hit right back up the middle. It sneaks through for a base hit. Scooted quickly on the infield dirt. Shannon now 1 for 2. Sends us 3rd time through the Milford lineup. Once again, Kate Irwin at the plate. Kate's been on base twice. A bunt single and a run scored in the 1st inning. She reached on an error by the shortstop in the 2nd inning. It's the only shaky play we've seen out of Jenna Crowell at shortstop, who otherwise has been terrific defensively. Here's a 1-0 pitch. It's bunted out towards the circle. It's fielded by Whalen, but she has no play anywhere. All Irwin has to do with those bunts is make sure she gets it beyond the reach of the catcher. And there's really no chance for anyone else to make a play with Kate's speed. She reaches on her 2nd bunt single of the day. And the first 2 have reached now for Milford. It puts runners at 1st and 2nd base for Emily Pierre-Gustavo, who aggressively swings at that first pitch and pops it up. Healy making the catch at 2nd base and a big out. So 1 down now. Those runners remain at 1st and 2nd base now for Maggie Farrell, who watches the first pitch miss outside. Some more cloud cover rolling overhead here above the softball field. For the most part, we have been precipitation free. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Farrell, and that's in for a strike. A 5-0 lead for Milford, looking for more here in the 4th. And Farrell takes a look at a called strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, and a pair on the base paths. Here's the next one to Farrell. It's lifted out to shallow center field. A long run in and a basket catch made by Zanabani. Looked very similar to the ball that ended up landing for a single for Emily Pierre-Gustavo back in the 1st, but this time Zanabani was able to make the catch. And so after the first 2 reached, Whalen has battled back to get the next 2. And those runners remain at 1st and 2nd base now with 2 down, and Milford looking for some 2-out magic off the bat of Jess Tomaso. And Tomaso rips this ball out to center field. That's over everyone's head. It's off the fence, and it will mean 2 runs for Milford as Cormier crosses the plate. Irwin right behind. A 2-run double for Tomaso, her 2nd double of the game, and that opens up the lead to 7-0 for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. That ball had home run distance It was a laser off the bat of Tommaso. It just didn't get high enough off the ground to clear the fence. And now Caitlin DeCapua with a home run cut on that first pitch of the at-bat. Caitlin looking for her first hit. She grounded out in the first and in the third. Sends this ball out to the left center field gap, down for a hit. They'll wave Tommaso around from second base. The throw comes into second as Tommaso scores on the RBI single for the senior captain, Caitlin DeCapua, and Milford now up 8-0. So back-to-back RBI producing hits for Tommaso and DeCapua. Milford doing more damage against Faith Whalen. A single runner aboard ahead of Emily Hartman, who is the 7th batter now to come to the plate in the inning. Looked like Whalen had a chance to get out of the jam, but Tommaso and DeCapua with other ideas as that ball comes up and in now on Hartman. There's the pitch, and it's high. Milford's pitching was able to hold serve in the bottom half of the 6th inning down in Stoughton, so the baseball team will head to the 7th, trailing 2-1, so the last chance for the Scarlet Hawks baseball team coming up down in the home of the Black Knights. Let's see if the Milford bats can come through. Hoping to channel some of the offensive display we've seen here on the softball field. An 8-run output so far for the Lady Hawks. And now a 3-2 count on Hartman with 2 outs and DeCapua at first. As this ball is lifted out to left field, it's the shortstop just in fair territory. Crowell able to make the catch for the out that ends the inning, but Milford puts a 3 spot on the scoreboard courtesy of the 2-run double from Tommaso and the RBI single from DeCapua. And it is now an 8-0 Lady Hawks lead over Plymouth North here on coverage of the Lady Hawks softball team in the MIAA playoffs here on Milford TV. Milford now with 8 runs on 9 hits, scoring 3 times on 4 hits in the bottom of the 4th inning. So now an 8-run cushion for Atherton starting off the top of the 5th inning with the line drive to the backstop off the bat of Emma Healy. Healy struck out in the only at-bat she's had so far on the game. Atherton facing just 1 over the minimum through the first 4. And now a swing and a miss. Atherton in control with the no ball 2 strike count. The next pitch, Healy thought about it, but was able to hold up on the swing as that ball darted down and out of the strike zone. Healy followed by Tegan Utera and Faith Whalen in the inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's fought off foul. Atherton. Quick stroll behind the pitching rubber, now right back up top. Gets the sign from Hartman, now the 1-2 pitch, and it's a little bit high, a good live fastball. Both of these teams with very similar feels, at least according to comments made by their fellow coaches. 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's a line drive towards shortstop. Died quickly. Fielding it on a couple of bounces was Pierre Gustavo. She's able to get the out. We know what a tight-knit group this Milford team is. Feeling a family amongst these Lady Hawks players. They spend a good deal of their free time together. And Coach Harrison, in a recent article, chronicling the regular season for this Plymouth North team, saying all the girls have a love for the game and they have displayed great teamwork. They're friends on and off the field. We're like a family. So again, two teams with very similar feels to them, as that ball is also sent on the ground to shortstop off the bat of Utera. Pierre Gustavo again up to the task, so a pair of 6-3 groundouts. And Atherton is in control of this inning, in control of this game. With 2 outs and the bases empty, Atherton's counterpart, Faith Whalen, now stands in for her second at bat. A pop-up on the infield, her first time up, now lifts the ball out to left, and Milford has to play it on a hop. Farrell coming in full speed, but that one dying out on the shallow grass in left. And that is just the second hit of the game for Plymouth North. It's the first ball that's reached the outfield for Plymouth North today, at least on a hit. The only other base hit for the Lady Eagles came back in the second inning on a little dribbler that got past the pitcher's circle on the infield for a single. And so Plymouth North with the 2-out runner at first. And we'll have a pinch hitter now come up in the number 8 spot in the lineup. As this ball is hit on the ground to first base, that is a foul ball, says the home plate umpire. Batter at the plate, Abby Villano, pinch hitting for Taylor Burns. And also a courtesy runner at first base. Shauna Riordan, the courtesy runner at first, as this ball is dumped out into right field. That's a fair ball just inside the line. Riordan going from first to third as the throw comes in wild on the infield, but it's backed up by Atherton in foul ground behind third base. So Coach Harrison shaking things up here, sending up the pinch hitter, Abby Villano. She's able to come through with the hit. Plymouth North's first threat of the game. They have runners at the corners with 2 down. As this ball is hit back towards shortstop, Pierre Gustavo has it. She throws to first. And all 3 outs were 6-3 groundouts in the inning. 2 hits in between that made things interesting, but in the end, Atherton refuses to allow any damage on the scoreboard in this 5th inning. It is still an 8-0 Lady Hawks lead as we head to the home half of the frame next on Milford TV. As we get set to begin the bottom of the 5th inning, we have another update from the baseball playoff game taking place down in Stoughton. Milford was able to produce a run in the top half of the 7th inning. An RBI single from Alex Cody, scoring Aiden Wild to tie the game at 2. The game will be tied heading into the bottom of the 7th inning. Alex Masick, who was the starting pitcher in the game, returning to the mound for the bottom of the 7th inning, trying to force extra innings. So in round 1 of the Division II South Baseball playoffs, Milford has found a way to tie the game against one of their top rivals in the Stoughton Black Knights, now hoping to continue to hold Stoughton off the scoreboard to force that game into extra innings. Again, we thank Anthony Mazzini for all of those scoring updates as he covers the game for Milford TV down on the road. Baseball team with scoring opportunities throughout the game, a couple of bases loaded opportunities that went by the boards, but they were able to scratch a run across in the 7th inning. Now hoping to keep that game going here on the softball field. It is a comfortable 8-0 lead for Milford in the bottom of the 5th. And it will be the bottom third of the order. Kelly Reichert, Maddie Bonvino, and Shannon Cormier due up in the frame. As Faith Whalen gets ready to start her 5th inning in the circle. Kelly Reichert officially 0 for 1 on the day. She popped out in the 1st and worked a walk in the 3rd. And now hits a hard ground ball foul wide of 3rd base. It will be interesting to see how Coach DeVito elects to utilize his pitching staff as these playoffs go on, making it nearly an even split between Atherton and Reichert in the circle through the regular season. As that ball is on the outside edge for a called strike 2, but we'll see now in the playoffs if he elects to ride Atherton in the circle or if Kelly Reichert will factor in as a starting pitcher. About to see a 1-2 pitch, and that one slipping out of the hand of Faith Whalen. She had a smile on her face as that ball looped in high over the head of Kelly Reichert. Now a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Here's the pitch, and this is a fly ball out to center field. And only a couple of steps for Julia Zanabani, who was able to make the catch. And the first Milford batter retired. And now here is Maddie Bonvino. 1 for 2 with a couple of runs batted in. Takes a pitch high. Now a called strike. A much more subdued first base dugout for the for the Plymouth North players after all of the runs put up by Milford in this one. Meanwhile, down the 3rd base line, we see everyone standing right at the edge of the chain link inside that 3rd base dugout. That foul ball off the bat of Bonvino drifting over to the 3rd base side, just to the right of the Milford home dugout. A 1-ball, 2-strike count on Maddie. The pitch in from Whalen, and that one hit hard on the ground to shortstop. It's boxed around by Jenna Crowell, and Bonvino will reach. So a bit of an up and down game defensively for Jenna Crowell, who's made some dazzling plays, but that's her 2nd error of the game. Now here's Cormier. Takes a look at a called strike 1. Shannon singled to lead off last inning, came around to score on the 2-run double for Jess Tomaso. Reaches out for that one, lifts it behind shortstop. Just a few steps onto the outfield grass. It's Crowell who's able to make the catch. And there are 2 outs now. Bonvino remains at first base, and a 2-out chance for Kate Irwin. Plymouth North has been unable to find a way to keep Irwin off the bases so far in this one. She has reached all 3 times she's come to the plate. Lets that one go for a called strike 1. A pair of bunt singles for Irwin. She's also reached on an error and has scored 2 runs. Kate Irwin scoring 30 runs in the regular season. That was 2nd most on the team here. Hits one to shortstop, and the throw gets there just in time. Very rare we see a throw get there in time to beat Kate, but Crowell able to get the job done. A 6-3 ground out that ends the bottom of the 5th inning. That sends us on to the 6th with the score still Milford 8 and Plymouth North 0 in round 1 coverage of the Division I South bracket of the MIAA playoffs here on Milford TV. Plymouth North had their best offensive inning of the game against Atherton in the 5th. After the first 2 batters were retired, the Lady Eagles coming through with back-to-back base hits to place runners at the corners. They were unable to score. And they will now send the top of their batting order to the plate in the 6th. Jenna Crowell, Maddie Crowley, and Ellie Giuliani. Crowell fouls the first pitch away. they are headed to extra innings down in Stoughton. Milford able to hold Stoughton scoreless in the bottom of the 7th, so that game will head to the 8th. It is a 2-2 tie. As that ball is hit on the ground to third base off the bat of Crowell, to Capua, to Tomaso for out number 1. So our two-man team of Anthony Mazzini and Tim Rossetti in for extra innings in their coverage of round 1 of the Division II South Baseball playoffs. Now Maddie Crowley at the dish for the Lady Eagles, takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. Plymouth North's leading hitter has been quiet so far through 2 at-bats, a strikeout and a flyout. Ahead in the count now, 2 balls and no strikes. Next pitch from Atherton, and this is floated out towards the circle, and Atherton able to make the grab. Good reflexes for Allie. Fielding her position well, and she collects out number 2 of the inning. As once again, the softball field is splashed in sunshine. We've had some heavy clouds roll overhead over the course of this game today, but outside of a couple of very light sprinkles, we have not experienced much in the way of precipitation. It is a bit of a cool day. Temperatures in the low 60s. Feeling a little bit cooler with the steady breeze that we've experienced throughout the game. As now this ball is hit hard right to Jess Tomaso at first base. She steps on the bag to retire Ellie Giuliani. And once again, it is a 1-2-3 inning for Allie Atherton. Milford 3 defensive outs away from an opening round playoff victory. They lead this game over Plymouth North by a score of 8-0. We'll see the bottom of the 6th inning when we return here on Milford TV. Bottom of the 6th inning now. Whalen's first pitch in to the number 2 hitter, Emily Pierre Gustavo, is a called strike 1. Emily has had a quiet day by her standards, a single and a run scored in the first inning. Since then, she's grounded out and popped out. Now sends a ground ball right to the third baseman. Giuliani sends it across the way to Crowley for out number 1, and a 1-for-4 day for the hottest hitter in the Hockomock League through the regular season, Emily Pierre Gustavo. 1 down in the bottom of the 6th now for Maggie Farrell. Farrell, a 1-for-3 afternoon. But that one hit a big one as she takes a breaking ball high for ball 1. Farrell first pitch swinging with a 2-run double to get Milford on the scoreboard in the bottom of the 1st. And now lifts a ball down the right field line, slicing, and it's a fair ball beyond the reach of Taylor Burns out in right field. So Farrell now with her 2nd hit. And a runner on for Jess Tomaso. She is 2-for-3, 2 doubles, 3 runs batted in, and 2 runs scored. An impressive performance here in round 1 of the playoffs. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a strike. Here's the 1-1 offering, and that's floated and it just misses. Jess's overall run batted in total for 2017 now up to 38. Through 20 regular season games and now this playoff game this afternoon. Now faces a 2-ball, 2-strike count with Farrell at first. Here's the pitch. And it's off the end of the bat to second. They'll throw to second base to get the out there. The relay throw to first is not in time for the double play. A heads-up play for Emma Healy. Able to cut down the lead runner, getting Farrell at second base. Tommaso reaches on the fielder's choice. 2 outs now, and DeCapua takes a breaking ball in for a strike. DeCapua broke through for her first hit in her last at-bat in the 4th inning, an RBI single that made the score 8-0. Continues to be an 8-0 game now, 2 outs deep in the bottom of the 6th. And now that pitch low, and DeCapua jumps ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. This game has breezed along at a good pace. We're only an hour and 15 minutes in, and already 2 outs deep in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the next pitch, and that's at the knees for a called strike. 2-2 now, the count on DeCapua, with Tommaso the runner at first base. And DeCapua shoots this one out to shallow left center field. It lands for a base hit. Tommaso was on the move on contact, and she's able to go from first to third. So Caitlin DeCapua now with her second hit of the afternoon. Runners at the corners now for Hartman. And before this at-bat commences, we can tell you that the baseball playoff game now heads to the bottom of the 8th inning. Milford unable to score in their half of the 8th, so it will stay a 2-2 game. As Milford will once again try to keep it that tied score. As Hartman sends one in the air out to left center, and Tegan Utera just able to make the catch as she came together with the center fielder Zanabani, but Utera able to hold on for the final out of the 6th inning. So Milford gets a couple of runners on, but they can't score. But nonetheless, they will take a hefty 8-0 lead into the top of the 7th inning. The Lady Hawks 3 defensive outs away from moving on in the playoffs. We'll see if they can get it done when we come back next here on Milford TV. Milford enters into the top half of the 7th inning with a new pitcher on. It is the junior Kelly Reichert taking over in the circle after 6 innings of shutout ball from Allie Atherton. No runs allowed on just 3 hits. She did not walk a batter and struck out 4. In line to get the victory, as Reichert will look to collect the final 3 outs as this ball is bunted down the third base line. It is a foul ball. As we see Shauna Riordan come to the plate here. She was a pinch, or I should say a courtesy runner earlier in the game. Now coming up as a pinch hitter, gets this ball out towards third. DeCapua fields and throws. Once again, we see those sound fundamentals from third base for DeCapua. Able to pounce on that one. It's the 5-3 ground out. So the pinch hitter retired. And now this ball is dribbled down the first base line. It is a foul ball. One out and the base is empty in the 7th inning. The bunt is down, fielded by Emily Hartman, and the throw to first base is there in time to get the out. So we've seen a couple of bunt attempts here in the 7th inning with Plymouth North trailing by 8 runs. That was Layla Speaker, the pinch hitter, up for Emma Healy. And so it's 2 up and 2 down in the 7th. Reichert 1 out away from finishing this game. And she deals in a called strike, as right now it appears that Coach Harrison is emptying out the bench. Now it's Shea Tavaclane, who will send a bouncer over towards second base. Bonvino has it. She flips to first, and Kelly Reichert comes out of the bullpen to deal a lightning-quick 1-2-3 7th inning, and that is it for round one of the Division I South playoffs. Milford cruises to a victory here over Plymouth North by a final score of 8-0, a game that took just a total of an hour and 20 minutes to get in. Milford scoring all of the runs they needed back in the first inning. Scoring 5 times on 5 hits in the first. They tacked on 3 more runs in the 4th inning, and that was plenty. 8 runs on 11 hits for Milford in the game today, and they blank Plymouth North, eliminating the Lady Blue Eagles from the playoffs. And so Milford with the victory, they will advance to the quarterfinal round, where they will face, right now their opponent is not yet known. A preliminary round playoff game happening this afternoon between number 10 seed Norwood and number 23 seed Stoughton. The winner of that game will play tomorrow, taking on Walpole High School, and it will be the winner of that game that will face Milford in the quarterfinal round. So it will be either the 10 seed Norwood, the 23 seed Stoughton, or it will be Walpole High School who will face Milford coming up in round 2 of the playoffs. But a victory here today for Milford, 8-0. The victory goes to Allie Atherton on the circle. Faith Whalen takes the loss, and Milford once again will play in the quarterfinal round of the Division I South bracket. So that will wrap up our coverage here today. As again, we also have coverage going on of the first round playoff game for the Scarlet Hawks baseball team, where it continues to be a 2-2 tie heading to the 9th inning. So that game plays on deep into extra innings. We unfortunately will not be able to bring you the final score of that one, but we'll continue to get updates from Anthony Mazzini, and we'll share those with you over on our Twitter account. So make sure you follow us at Milford_TV to get all of the final updates from that baseball game as well. And of course, we'll have a full update on all things MIAA playoffs coming up on the Milford Informer next Friday night. That will wrap up our coverage here today. A big thank you to our crew, our director, John Giacomuzzi, and our camera operators, Rob O'Keefe and Malcolm Zale. And I am Tim Coette. The final score one final time in round 1 of the Division I South playoffs. It is Milford with an 8-0 victory over Plymouth North. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.